look at the Twin Spires at Churchill Downs on this Wednesday, a day of horse racing benefiting local nonprofits. We thank you for joining us here on Wave News at 5. I'm Myra Ansari. The countdown clock keeps on ticking downward to the 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby. But first, a week's worth of fun going on at Churchill Downs. That's where we find my co-anchor, Brian Schlonsky, and Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnan. Brian, you were out there for 5-0 Tuesday yesterday, and Kevin said it looked so much like it was so much fun out there, he had to join you out there for Wednesday today.
Yeah, and you showed the Twin Spires. That's right where we're standing here on the terrace. Things about to get loud because race number 9, they're coming down the stretch as we speak.
You're going to hear some folks cheering and some probably cursing because their horse isn't winning. You picked in this race, if you were watching a few minutes ago, Brian said number 6 makes sense. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing makes sense.
Right now, it's not making a lot of sense. Parchment Party is heading towards the end. John with the fantastic
and number
camera
5, which is what I just told those guys over there because, will number 5 take it? Doesn't look like it.
Parchment Party.
All right.
Number 2. There you have it. A little live racing for the fans back at home.
I know, right? How fun is this? A lot of folks out here today. It is Wednesday. We should explain what that means. Yesterday was sort of an ode to historical Louisville. They named the races after some of the iconic landmarks that you would know. Today is Wednesday.
Wednesday, coming out of the old Champions Day. Today, it's all about the nonprofits. 50 of them vying to be one of 20 that gets to compete with an actual Derby horse on Derby Day during the big race to see if they can win some cash for their organization.
They pick those post positions tying to those 20 organizations, and then of course however Saturday plays out, the top place winner will receive $20,000 and it goes down from there, and if you're 4th through 20th you get still a nice prize, and I think that's somewhere around $2,500.
Little money for charity. That's why again Wednesday is such a fantastic day. You talked a bit about Oaks and Derby, and that brings us to some news that was breaking throughout the day. We're already starting to see some of the early scratches come in, so let's run you through those, and we will start with Derby Day. Silent Tactic not running in this year's Kentucky Derby after scratching due to a bruised foot. Trainer Mark Cassie with Silent Tactic. They were set to break from post 13 with jockey Christian Torres. Would have been his first, but now they are out, so that means Great White is in, trained by John Ennis in the Derby field with Alex Atchard, the jockey. They'll break from post 20. So if a horse scratches from the main body of field, all the horses drawn outside will move inward by 1 post position, and that's what's happening for Derby Day. Oaks with some changes as well.
Yeah, we have that. Take a look at the Oaks field. Trainer Safi Joseph Jr. has scratched My Miss Mo. Churchill Downs said that announcement came today at around 12:30. Now, here's what it means. That means that Nikon will join the Oaks field. Bottle of Rouge, and that scratched earlier this week. Bottle of Rouge putting Lovely Gray, owned by Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy, in the race. So when you think of that, that does make some changes to both Oaks and Derby Day.
Be interesting to see the fan feedback around Barstool, because a lot of people follow them on social media, maybe add a little bit of excitement to this race. Everybody, Kevin, hoping that on race day, at post time, it can feel a little bit something like this.
Yeah, there's one thing we don't bet on, and that's a Derby forecast. You take a look at the skies above us. We've got a few clouds around the area. Temperatures winding up in the 60s today, and we're going to continue to hold on to the 60s over the course of the next couple of days. Let me show you what it looks like outside, and with that, we've got our camera downtown focused on the Great Steamboat Race. A number of folks will be taking to the Ohio River for that as well. With that will come temperatures in the 60s, dropping into the 50s. So here we are with our current temperature at 66 degrees. I'm not sure if you can see it at home there. There we go. And then temperatures through the rest of the evening will slowly drop. We're under a partly cloudy sky now. We'll clear a few more of these clouds out of here as the night wears on. With that will come a cool night tonight, but it gets even cooler behind that cold front that you see. So our forecast tonight showing our temperatures easing back into the 40s by early tomorrow morning, and a quick look to the rain chances because we know everybody's looking ahead. It's Derby morning where we have our highest rain chance, 30 to 40%, 6, 7, 8 a.m. Then rain chances ease down. down, only to return to a very minor 10% chance on Derby Day during the afternoon. So all in all, it's mainly dry. The exception would be very early Friday morning, Brian. So I think most people are happy about that. There's one combination you don't want. That is a rain chance and cold temperatures.
All right, we'll play it by ear. We'll let you dial that thing in. There was a couple times today, Kevin, since we've been out here, we've done some accidental interviews. Some folks holding some mint juleps, maybe their third or fourth of the day, wandering into our set. We had great conversations with them. Alina's been out talking to people on purpose.
Yeah, she really has been, and she's found some of the Winsday crowd.
That's right, guys. This is just an awesome day for so many people because, first of all, you see a lot of local folks that come out to the track first on Five-O Tuesday, then, of course, today on Wednesday. This is really a community-driven day, and one of the main reasons people like to come out is for what we had seen just a second ago, which was the post-position draws that are usually set up right here in the center of the paddock, where they've been drawing for those nonprofits that get assigned to each post in the Kentucky Derby. That just came down just a few minutes ago as we look to wrap up this day. But I've got a chance to talk to some people who've come out and chosen today because of what it means for the local nonprofits in our area. One lady I talked to, her name's Candace. She is a founder of a nonprofit herself and came out specifically to support another nonprofits day, that being the Cabbage Patch. She talked about what it means for the community to show their support in this way.
Supporting work that is passion-filled, it's passion-led. There are so many opportunities to support various Derby events, but when you can combine this type of event with something that's heartfelt and community-based, there's really nothing better than that. You come out and you have a good time for a good cause.
And of course, we talked about those post-position draws, but as well, you could pick one nonprofit for $5 to go towards from your ticket purchase today. So lots of exciting folks out here supporting those nonprofits today. Brian, Kevin.
All right, thanks, Alina. Yeah, we love to see the nonprofits winning. The races here at Churchill winding down for the day, but there's another race out on the Ohio that's getting ready to get going.
Yeah, it draws thousands and thousands of people, too, both on the boats, the Belle of Cincinnati and the Belle of Louisville, and along both sides of the Ohio River, which is always fun. Natalia Martinez is on board the Belle of Louisville. It's good to see you, and, you know, you talk about me, and Myra was teasing me about joining you because it's a party.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, well, there might be one person that likes a party more than me, and that's Natalia. Natalia, how is it on the boat?
I like to party more than you, Kevin, allegedly. So let's start there. But yes, this is a great party. And by the way, funny you should say that because I just found out that during World War II, the Belle of Louisville served as a nightclub for soldiers. So isn't that amazing? This is the oldest running steamboat in America. And so it's very special. We're getting ready here to take off. The race starts at 6 o'clock. And let me tell you, last year, the Belle of Louisville was out for the count because she needed repair work. And her little parts are hard to find. So she couldn't race last year, but she is back on the water, and I am back on the air after working on some special projects that you guys will be seeing here very shortly. So today it's a bit of a celebration for me, a celebration of the Great Steamboat Race and a celebration of being back on air, and of course a celebration of Derby. Now I'd like to say that for my partner Jose, who's going to be racing against me, but as we well know, guys, that doesn't seem to work out better for the Belle's opponents. Back to you.
All right, Natalia, thank you. We'll see how that race shakes out. Always iffy. You never know, really. You know, I think some people claim that they do know ahead of time. We'll see. It's not the only fun happening. It's going on all across town. And, in fact, many people are making their way down to the waterfront for another night at the Festival.
Chow Wagon, always a good time. Great food down there. And for the first time ever this year, some of that food is going to support people in need. Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia Francischini has that story.
On days like today, the rain may be keeping some people away from the Kroger Festival, and that means that a lot of the food from the food trucks around me may go unused, but a partnership between local groups is making sure that food goes to people in need. We caught up with Kevin Kunch as he was picking up hamburgers left over from the day before.
This would all go into one of these garbage cans. I mean, if they're not going to use it, they'll take it back somewhere and just throw the food out. Really good food that can be used over and making certain type of meals with it.
And that's exactly what's happening with these burgers. Kunj will deliver them to Feed Louisville, where the team there will transform them into meals for those facing food insecurity.
It is the most gratifying thing I've ever done. I've been working for nearly 40 years, and this is the most gratifying job I have ever had.
Kunj has been a redistribution coordinator for Feed Louisville for more than 2 years. In that time, he's seen firsthand the need to make food more accessible.
There's a lot of people now, things are getting cut, they don't have the money to buy stuff, and they're losing their jobs or they've been laid off and all that, and this is actually helping a lot of people.
Several of the food trucks at the Kentucky Derby Festival Showwagon are taking part in this initiative. Organizers say they came up with the idea after realizing how much food could be going to waste. Their goal is to expand the program next year. Fernando Garcia, Francis Sheeny, Wave News.
All right, so another great cause being supported this year. That's one of the best parts about the Derby season. A lot of the local nonprofits and the people in need get to get that help because all eyes are on us and on our city.
Well, that's nice. Once Derby sort of stretched out through the entire week, there are different causes each day, from 5-0 Tuesday to Wednesday. Thurby is always a big time out here. We only have one more race left on today's card, and then we will be into full Thurby mode.
About 20 minutes to that next race. You mentioned there's causes every day. Our next cause, Myra, is getting you out here to the track to join the two of us.
I thought you meant maybe something to drink, but okay, Myra's fine. I like that too. Myra, whatever.
I'm so much better than a drink, guys. Wait, so you both look fantastic, but when Kevin walked into the newsroom, everybody was like talking about his tie. You got to show us your tie.
Well, we showed that off in the last half hour, but for folks that are new watching, it's a hand-painted little Derby tie.
Very nice.
There you have it.
Which the last couple of days being all about the locals, getting local fashion into the mix was part of that.
Well, Myra knows she has to stand by you every day and coordinate attire. I was a little nervous. You know, Mr. Fashion over here, Myra.
Oh, I know.
I was like, oh, no.
It's hard to keep up with him.
He's lucky I didn't show up in shorts and a T-shirt.
Don't worry, Myra. He pointed out the guy in shorts and a suit. Couldn't wait to show me him.
It was a three-piece suit with shorts. I loved it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I may wear that. I might change my outfit. You change your outfit 19 times, I may change mine.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. All right, guys, thanks so much. Well, have you ever wondered exactly how horse racing got its start in America? It was nearly 20 years before the first Derby race. We're going to tell you about the horse that started it all, still to come. But first, a more serious topic that plagues the nation, human trafficking. How one group is trying to combat it as hundreds of thousands of people descend on Louisville.
This newscast is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Now, Wave News.
New billboards have a message for men coming to the Kentucky Derby. They are attempting to discourage sex trafficking. Wave News reporter David Mattingly took a look at the billboards and talked with people behind them.
They're from a group called Rights for Girls, Myra, and they're targeting men attending large sporting events with billboards like we saw today. These messages are on the billboard on 65 South in Jeffersonville just before you get on the Kennedy Bridge into Louisville. All of them have Derby-themed warnings trying to discourage men from buying sex. And the point that they're trying to drive home is that the sex trade is not a victimless crime.
Over 90% of women in the sex trade report being shot, raped, strangled, burned, stabbed, or beaten. And that's not at the hands of the pimps. It's often at the hands of the sex buyers themselves. The women in the sex trade face mortality rates 200 times higher than the general population. And about 70% suffer PTSD at levels comparable to combat veterans.
Louisville Metro officials are also trying to raise awareness of sex trafficking, and they want Derby attendees to do their part. Louisville Metro officials are also asking, they want the Derby attendees to do their part by saying that they should watch for anything unusual and then report it to any official at the track. Reporting live, David Mattingly, Wave News.
All right, thank you, David. Still ahead here at 5. We're going to head back out to the track so Brian can tell us about a horse that brought horse racing to America.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.
And welcome back to at Churchill Downs. It's Wednesday. Kevin Harnett alongside Brian Schlonsky here, where the day is slowly winding down. We're off to the final race coming up.
All right, it's about 15 minutes from that post time. We've had a great time talking to fans today. Some joining us from out of town. We always see that on Oaks and Derby, but Becky and Tom from the Atlanta area are here for Wednesday. So, Becky, I'll start with you. Why did you guys say Wednesday's the day we've got to be here at the track?
Well, probably because the Oaks and the Derby were just more than we could handle.
A little expensive, too.
Yes.
Tom, you mentioned this is your guys' first time here. How's the day been for you?
It has been wonderful. Becky is the person who loves horses. I do, too. But this is a trip for her. It's on our bucket list of things to do. So we're delighted to be here.
Well, we are so happy to have you guys in town, and we are happy that the weather played ball. That's this guy's job. He's the one that gets yelled at when it doesn't. Today,
I'm never here on a rainy day.
So you weren't here this morning.
Correct.
Dawn at the Downs. Woof.
Soggy, that's for sure. You look at some of the horses coming out along with the jockeys. They're making their way out for the final race of the day. There's still 10 minutes to post. Let's do a little weather here because we've kept our eyes on the radar all afternoon, and the good news is we have not had the opportunity to see any rain, and for the most part, no cloud cover this afternoon outside of some of these fair weather cumulus clouds, so it's pretty nice. The front is past us. It's taken the rain chance with it. We'll notice behind that front the cooler temperatures moving in, though. Those start tonight, and they will be with us over the course of the next few days, in fact. So here comes at least the opportunity to see a rain chance, but not until we hit early Friday morning. So your Thurby forecast, I sort of zoomed past that, but it looks nice. Here's the rain chance graph, and you'll notice rain chances increasing early Friday morning, 6, 7, 8 a.m. We put it at about a 40% chance, and then we're going to take that rain chance down. That is good news, both for Oaks Day, which has a later post time, and for Derby Day, which is mainly dry with only a 10% rain chance coming in during the evening hours. So your specific hour-by-hour forecast for your Friday Oaks Day, temperatures in the low 60s. That comes with some sunshine, probably more clouds than sun. We're banking on the same for Derby Day, and that means it's going to be cool, so plan accordingly. May not have to fight the rain, but you may need to protect yourselves from some cool temperatures. Right now, the boat race, the Great Steamboat Race, looking good. That kicks off in less than an hour here. 66 our current temperature in Louisville. We're going to drop that number down into the mid-40s overnight tonight in Louisville, but some of the outlying areas will drop into the upper 30s. Replace that with mostly sunny skies for Thurby, a high of 66. And here's a look at that 10-day earliest alert. You're going to see that minor rain chance early Friday. Again, day by day, multiple times through the day, we're fine-tuning and refreshing our forecast. It's a good time to have the Wave Weather app. You'll see those temperatures easing back into the 50s on Derby Day. Plan accordingly. That certainly feels cool, especially if we wind up with a mostly cloudy sky, and then temperatures warm back up next week. There is an alert day mid next week. We still have plenty of time to sort of get that fine-tuned, but right now it looks like late Wednesday of next week we could see a few strong storms. That's a look at your 10-day earliest alert. We're live at Churchill Downs. It's Wednesday. We'll be back with more Wave News after this.
For every ticket purchased to watch the horses race at Churchill Downs today, $5 was donated to a nonprofit. Wednesday returned for the fourth year today at the historic racetrack. Mike Owenker, Brian Schlonsky, and Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett. They have been out at the track this afternoon, abandoned me here in the studio. I'm all by myself. It's so quiet. There's no one to talk to. But there's so much history that goes along with horse racing. You're going to fill us in.
Yeah, you know, I thought Myra might like it like that. Sometimes I thought she'd be like, just get them out of here.
It's not quiet here.
You know, when you think of the Kentucky Derby, the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, thoroughbred racing, really, you think back more than 170 years ago, and a lot of the history of that really began right here at home.
Begins with one horse, too. His name was Lexington, and his story in life, death, and beyond is unlike anything you may have heard. Every horse that thunders down the stretch Derby weekend carries a piece of history in its blood, and much of that history traces back to a single bay stallion born in 1850 in the city of Lexington, Kentucky, a story perhaps best told by Dr. Jim Seaver from the Kentucky Historical Society.
So the racehorse Lexington may be the most famous thoroughbred that people have never heard of, and he's arguably the most distinguished thoroughbred of the 19th century.
Born Darley, he was first trained by a formerly enslaved African-American horseman. Turning so many heads, he was sold to a gambler in 1852, who brought him to New Orleans, renaming him Lexington. There, he dominated.
He won all but one race that he was ever entered in, 7 races total.
He also set a record, making him the fastest horse in the nation. But just as Lexington's star was rising, fate intervened. That same year, he developed an eye infection. It left him completely blind. His racing days were over. Lexington was then sold to R.A. Alexander, one of the wealthiest men in Kentucky. The price, $15,000, roughly $500,000 in today's money, and a record-setting sum at the time.
Now we have this mid-19th century cape that was owned by Robert Aitchison Alexander, and I love it because it has this Gothic aura to it, and it would have been very appropriate for that era.
At the Kentucky Historical Society in Frankfort, artifacts from Alexander's Woodburn farm help tell the story, including the actual sales receipt from that record sale. So, as Lexington lived out his days at the farm, he then became horse racing's most dominant sire.
Lexington had several hundred children over the course of his very lengthy breeding career. They won over 1,000 races, and in 1875, when the first Derby was happening, 9 of the horses in that race could trace their lineage back to Lexington, including Aristides, the first Derby winner.
His family tree stretching across American history. His son Cincinnati was the one Ulysses S. Grant rode when Confederate forces surrendered at Appomattox. Several Triple Crown legends, including Secretariat, trace their lineage to Lexington.
It's possible to say that we would not have the thoroughbred racing industry that we have today had it not been for a foundational sire like Lexington the racehorse.
Even the Civil War couldn't stop him. When Confederates attacked Woodburn Farm looking for prize horses, Alexander evacuated Lexington to Illinois to keep him safe. The horse died in 1875 and was given a public funeral, but his story was far from over.
Lexington has this rather unique afterlife. Lexington passed away in 1875 and was buried in a public funeral at Woodburn Farm in Woodford County, Kentucky. And that could have been the end of his story, but he has this amazing third act, and more specifically, his skeleton has this fascinating third act. Some might say it's a little like Weekend at Bernie's.
His bones were exhumed, shipped, and donated to the Smithsonian in Washington. For over 130 years, visitors walked past his skeleton in Bone Hall, many not knowing what a legend they were seeing. In 2010, his skeleton came back to Kentucky at the International Museum of the Horse, and now he's forever remembered here in Gatton Park with a new 12-foot-tall blue statue. The most famous thoroughbred most people today have never heard of. Born blind to greatness, then blind to the world, and still, somehow, in horse racing, he's everywhere you look. Yeah, everywhere indeed. Another place that you can find Lexington living on today. He is the horse depicted atop the Woodlawn vase. That's given out to the winner of the Preakness Stakes. So quite a fantastic story that lives on for generations.
You know, super interesting. Around here we think of Secretariat, Ponder, Assault, a lot of the horses of days gone by, but Lexington.
Good big one. All right, so we've got more coverage here from the track, including a look at your forecast. Kevin was just digging around on the radar as the clouds moved in.
Yeah, we felt it cool down a little bit. I said, I better make sure we don't have any rain. We don't. The good news is we don't today. The bad news is we made by Oaks Day. An update on the forecast, the Great Steamboat Race, and today's news. All coming back right here on Wave.
Now, Wave News at 5.
And welcome Welcome back to Wave News at 5:30. I'm Myra Ansari. We're in full Derby mode ahead of the 152nd running of the Kentucky Oaks and Derby, and the Derby on Saturday. And today was Wednesday at the track, and the very last race of the day just finished up. We could hear it's the final countdown, the music playing right behind you guys earlier. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harden and my co-anchor Brian Shalonsky are part of the fun today at historic Churchill Downs. I got to ask you guys, what's been your favorite part of the day so far?
Favorite part of it, having you here, buddy. You already know.
Yeah, right. It's been a fun time. My favorite part has been seeing a lot of the recipients of these charities that are out here being represented. I saw a number of folks, I do a lot of charity work, so it was great to see so many people out here that in the hopes of getting some of those dollars would go back into the accounts for the charities that work so hard around our city.
Even if they weren't one of the 20 that would win and run with a Derby horse on Derby Day, they still get to partner with Winsday and talk about their organization. So before everybody leaves, as the last race just wrapped up on the grass, I want to bring in Jairus and Demetrius to talk a bit about your organization. Jairus, I'll start with you. Tell me the name of it and why it's so important.
It's called Talented Minds. It's important because we're working on mentality. Like Kobe Bryant, mama mentality. We're trying to develop mental mindset and athletic mindset. So students used across the city is prepared for anything they can encounter. We want to alleviate mental health as much as we can and make an impact on our community as much as we can. So yeah, Talented Minds.
Demetrius, why is Talented Minds needed here in our community, maybe now more than ever?
I would say that just me being an athlete in my field, I would know that just as far as being a senior in high school, that I didn't know what I wanted to do after my lifetime. So I want to be a voice for the voiceless, and I know that that's very important, especially for nowadays. Because as athletes, you don't know what you want to do after high school. Like, we have to have tools and athletics to do what you want to do.
Wednesday is all about highlighting organizations just like yours. So for everybody at home, where can they find you guys for more information?
Instagram, Facebook, Talented Minds Nonprofit on both social medias, talentedmindsky.org, and yeah, we're all over the place. Just type us in and you'll find us on Google, Facebook, everything.
All over the internet.
All over.
Well, guys, thanks for the hard work that you do. Happy Wednesday to you, Kevin. This is exactly why we love coming out here midweek to the track. Oaks and Derby are great, but the days for the locals are a lot of fun, too.
Well, especially when they have minds like that. And look how sharp dressed they are, too. Wow. They are looking good today, I'll tell you that. Good luck, guys, and thanks for doing the work that you do. Let's do a little weather. We've seen a few clouds move overhead here at Churchill Downs. Cooled us down just a bit, but it's not raining, and it's not going to. You'll notice from our SkyTrack camera view from Churchill Downs, we have the trees that are blooming out. We also have a SkyTrack camera that's on the bell of Louisville and the Cincinnati bell. I'll show you what that looks like as we move forward. Temperatures today have been pleasant in the 60s. A little bit of a breeze right here. Feels good. We've had a great day.
I was going to say, this we would take every day.
The sleeveless dresses for some may be a little on the cool side as we roll into Oaks and Derby, but this is not bad. 66 right now. Partly cloudy skies. We clear the skies out later on tonight. We're behind the cold front, and that means cooler temperatures. Brian, we're going to drop into the 40s for many overnight tonight, and that's how we start the day tomorrow. It'll be equally as cold, in fact, colder by the time we roll into early Friday morning. So we do have some chilly temperatures. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. I want to give a quick update on the rain chance. We do see about a 40% rain chance coming in early Friday. 6, 7, 8, 9 a.m. would be that time, and then we're going to lower that chance. And then, of course, for Derby Day, we've been maintaining that 10% rain chance. It's probably lower than 10%, but at this point, we can't take it out completely.
I've got the perfect Oaks plan for you then. Hang at home, spend the first couple of hours with us, let us get drenched out here at the track, and then when it clears out, come on down and enjoy for yourself.
Yeah, you've always got a plan. I'll tell you who else has to have a plan is if you're really jockeying to win the Great Steamboat Race, which is also a lot of fun.
A fantastic tradition, one of the oldest that we have here this Derby week. The Belle of Louisville going head-to-head against the Belle of Cincinnati. We heard from Natalia earlier. Yeah. Jose's up next.
I'm curious how Jose is doing. Jose was new last year to the Wave family. They threw him on the Belle of Cincinnati. Jose, I want you to loosen up a little bit. You might have to pilot the boat yourself.
We gave him to the competitor?
No.
Guys, I think I've got my captain's jacket on finally, and that doesn't Oh, hey, Kevin. Yes, I can. Hoping you could check in. I was saying, this is going to be my captain's jacket, and I've been getting my sea legs here on the Belle of Cincinnati. I'm hoping to add a little bit to that history. We're waiting to cast off in, let's say, just under 15 minutes. Take a look at the view. Also, the jacket functioning to help me stay warm in this breeze. It helps when you have the young blood of the Belle of Cincinnati. This is the young vessel in this race, made in 1991. By the way, guys, if you weren't familiar with its prior history, this used to be a floating casino. I'm going to count on our good luck bet on the house to get us to the finish line this time around. I know the Belle of Louisville's replacement last year, the Marianne Miller, they were the ones that were supposed to, and they kind of got to the finish line first. And I will remind our Natalia Martinez when I check in with her that she's a little rusty. I don't think she's got the stuff in her anymore, and who knows, maybe this is the young guy coming back to show her we have the energy to win in this Belle of Cincinnati. What do you think, Natalia?
Did I just hear you say that I'm a little rusty? Well, excuse me, mister, but
I think that's exactly what I said.
Maturity, and I'm here with captain of the Belle of Louisville. He called us rusty. What do you have to say to that?
It's not rusty. We got new steel, fresh paint. We're ready to roll. So
the Belle was out of commission last year. It was difficult to find some of the parts because she is the oldest steamboat of her kind, still running in America. But baby, we're back. I'm back on air, and I'm back with the Belle of Louisville. And Jose, I'm so sorry, but the captain knows what's going to happen today.
Oh, we're going to win. We're the only steamboat in the race. We got this one.
So I know you've been with the Belle of Louisville for a while, but this is your first year as captain.
I've run captain before. This is my first year as a port captain. So I've been behind the wheel a couple of years and ran the Mary last year for the race and been in a long time.
You brought us the win last year.
I did.
Now, it is very windy. How does that affect what's going to happen in navigating a steamboat on this kind of water?
We're going to take the channel span this year. Usually we're over on the Indiana side. We can hold a little better on this side, so we'll see what happens.
Well, we know what's going to happen.
There's a lot of experience up in the wheelhouse tonight. So
you see, Jose, he called that experience. So no rust here, my friends. Back to you.
Heard experienced. I think we all heard what Jose really said. That was old and rusty. I don't know. I don't think he was talking about the boat.
Natalia is going to give it to you when you get back to the station.
Jose's going to need even bigger sunglasses to really stay away from that, right? He's going to need to be like incognito.
Okay, old and rusty. One thing that isn't, the Belle of Louisville, 110 years young, celebrating this year. I just did a cruise a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic. A nice preview to the race this week. We love the Belle. It's one of our shining beacons here in Louisville.
Yeah, Myra, I thought I was the only old and rusty one around, but evidently I'm not.
Well, you are. Natalia's going to eat you alive, boy. You better be careful.
Myra's not bailing you out.
I'm not helping you.
Jose either.
Thanks, guys. Well, ahead at 5, we're going to head back out to the track to check in with reporter Alina Noakes on this Wednesday, a day to bring a spotlight on nonprofits in our community and beyond. We'll be right back.
This newscast is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Now, Wave News.
Well, the last race on this Wednesday ran about 20 minutes ago, so now onwards towards Thurby and Oaks. My co-anchor Brian Schlonsky and Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett, they are still out at the track this evening. Folks are leaving now, but no matter what day it is, if you're going to the track, you're going to see quite the number of unique and fun outfits. I love seeing everybody dressed up days in advance.
Yeah, what's been the most unique thing you've seen?
Well, the suit with the shorts and the lady you interviewed with the face that was a horse mask.
Yeah, we've got a lot of folks with fascinators walking out.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
The big hats are less popular than they used to be.
It's because they've gone up in price, Kevin.
Well, that could be it. We've got a nice group of ladies walking out here all the way from my hometown down in New Haven.
Yes.
Good to see you guys.
Well, nice seeing you.
It was good timing, wasn't it?
My friend. It was an awesome day.
That's what we like. Everybody having fun out here. And I'm glad you could put put the poncho away. Yeah?
Oh, well.
There you go. Be careful.
This morning it was all about the ponchos. People were lined up outside the gates. That's what they were wearing. Alina Noakes has been checking in with some folks who braved the rain early, stuck around this afternoon, Alina, and had a pretty nice Wednesday.
That's right, Brian. You can see behind me the grandstand's pretty much empty, but I managed to catch some fans who were out here celebrating what today's all about, the community and nonprofits. This is Cheryl Day. She works for Cedar Lake Lodge as the program director. And Cheryl, you got my attention because I saw you cheer whenever they said Cedar Lake is one of the nonprofits in the post draw or post position draw, right? What does it mean to be able to be chosen for that today?
It means so much, but however, our horse was scratched, so it didn't mean as much. But Cedar Lake does such good work. We take care of adults with intellectual delays, and we just, I've only been there for 6 months, but if I had an individual or a loved one that had intellectual delays, I would for sure want them to be at Cedar Lake. It's 24-hour nursing, 24-hour DSPs, which are folks that just care so much, and as programming, we're just allowed and thankful enough to just put a cherry on top of everything that nursing and our DSPs do.
During this week, when the spotlight is on Louisville and on Churchill Downs specifically, to be able to have your nonprofit, highlighted as one of the groups here, what does that mean for what you do every day?
It makes me just proud on everything that we do. My whole team was here with our individuals, just so folks can see exactly who we care for, not exactly what we do, but it's all about them. We work where they live, so that's very important to us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Just a great day for so many groups who come out here and are looking for that support. Brian, Kevin.
All right, thanks to Alina there for another great interview with an organization as we watch the folks stream out behind us.
Yeah.
Oh, we're late to the party, Kevin.
I tell you, I parked a little bit far away today. There was still a lot of cars jammed up, so this is just a sign of probably what will be unfolding over the next couple of days.
The paddock terrace, always the last place that holds the stragglers as people leave at the end of the day.
Yeah, they've got to find a way to finish their drinks before they head out those gates. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got more Wave News, more live from Winsday at Churchill Downs, and an updated Derby and Oaks forecast for you. We're just a couple of minutes away from our 5:30 and 6 o'clock weather forecast.
We are back live out here, Churchill Downs, on this Wednesday, the paddock terrace, as the crowd is clearing out. I don't know if this says more about Kevin's prowess as a meteorologist or as a man about town, but as the late day people start to leave, the more Kevin Harnett chants start to come,
I think it's the juleps.
Those from the balcony.
Oh, they're up there still. They're holding on.
Some of Kevin's biggest fans. They waited all day for this.
Did you all win?
Did you win? Yeah. Oh, that's a stack of money, Kevin.
Oh, that is a stack of money. I can't even see that far. All right, well, fun stuff there. Hey, there we go. They're taking us to dinner. Thank you. Right. That's nice. Let's do a little forecast here. We do have temperatures that were pleasant today. Everybody's in a good mood today. Boy, we like it on the sunny days, I'll tell you that. Temperature at 66 degrees in Louisville. We look at the satellite and radar. There's just not a lot happening across the area. We've had a few clouds pass by. Not so bad, though. Zoom that out. Behind the cold front, cooler temperatures move in, especially because we're going to see those numbers drop tonight in the clear skies. Now, if you're all the way down into the Gulf Coast states, you're under the cloud cover. Not here so much. Your Thurby forecast looks excellent, and we pointed out all week that we said Thurby would likely be the pick. We're talking temperatures back in the mid-60s, partly to mostly sunny skies. We do still have a rain chance. Listen closely. Friday morning. Most of you are going to be asleep. This is going to be early, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. We're at our peak rain chance. Still a rain chance, 7, 8, 9, but we're stair-stepping that chance down through the morning, and we'll take it out of there to a very low chance during the afternoon. And even on Derby Day, the chance is very small. So when we look in detail, temperatures and rain chances, we mentioned rain chances were limited. Temperatures are going to be cool. Oaks Day, we're in the low 60s. The post time, 8:40. Sunset is right before then, so we're going to be under a darkening sky, so it will be turning cooler. Plan accordingly. You're going to need something. Don't say, Kev, you didn't say it was going to be cool. No, there is certainly the opportunity to need a shawl for the ladies, a jacket for the men. It is going to be cool. By early Derby morning, not so much a rain chance, but very cold temperatures, upper 30s, low 40s. So for that official Derby forecast for you, you can see we're going to see a mostly cloudy sky, maybe some sunshine. That's still to be debated, whether we see more sun. If that's the case, we might push temperatures into the low 60s. Right now, we're going mostly cloudy at times with temperature at 59. The rain chance is low, 10%. The boats starting to make their move to the starting line. It's a 66-degree temperature right now in Louisville. Our temperature tonight, 44, partly cloudy. Mostly sunny for our day tomorrow. We're looking good for Thurby. Everybody's happy about that. 66 for the high temperature, and that 10-day forecast shows temperatures going down. The coldest of the 10-day, yeah, that's Derby day, high upper 50s, but rain chances at least held in check. No washout this year, no severe weather this year. We look to next week. That's our next alert day, and that's late next Wednesday. Plenty of time to keep you updated on that. So back out here live at Churchill Downs, it has certainly got a lot quieter now that folks are on the exit.
Which means we got to entertain you a different way. Stay with us after the break. We're going to talk to a chief data analyst. Sounds boring, but you know him by his khakis. Steve Kornacki. He does politics. He does sports. He'll talk his favorite Derby memory. Coming up next.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.
Well, we are back out here live at Churchill Downs at the end of this Wednesday, talking about all the fantastic faces here in Louisville. We talked to a couple from Atlanta. You know who else is here in town this week?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you see so many people out here from NBC as well. One of those happens to be Steve Kornacki. We know him as NBC's chief data analyst, and he's been out here for the last 6 years?
He kind of made his way in politics before going over to sports. A lot of people know him by his khakis. We talked to him earlier today. He always wears those. I don't know. It's become a thing. About some of his best Derby stories over the years. Talked about when Bob Baffert trained Medina Spirit and won the race in 2021, but was ultimately disqualified. Take a listen.
The biggest winner I ever had, I love to tell people this story, was 12-1, and but the horse was ultimately disqualified. So if you remember this, it was Medina Spirit back in 2021, won the Derby at 12-1. And I had him, and the good news on that is the disqualification happened like 6 months later. So if you bet him, you kept the money.
That was a wild story. I remember that year well. We'll see what happens this year. You can catch our coverage, Wave, your official Derby station. Kentucky Oaks is 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. We'll hang with you all day. 8 to 2:30 is our coverage time on Derby Day.
Yeah, but you don't have to wait till Oaks or Derby Day to see that Derby spirit. Obviously, we've been doing it all for the last week, it seems like. Of course, we covered Thunder over Louisville, and then we're into all of the other Derby events, the bed races. We had yesterday, 5-0 Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thurby.
Cannot wait for Thurby. We know we'll see a lot of you out here. Kevin and I aren't going anywhere. We'll see you here next to 6.